Hi, I'm Kevin Bright, one of the executive producers of Friends. The opening title sequence was shot on the Warner Brothers Ranch in Burbank, California, and the New York skyline was matted in later. Now, this is the only episode of Friends where you'll see the title sequence in its entirety. The reason for this is that we felt that this would be the title sequence for every single episode of the show for the life of the series. However, when NBC saw the sequence for the first time, they felt it was sending the audience a negative message. We're young, we're hip, we're dancing in a fountain, and you can't play with us. What they wanted us to do was to go back to our original presentation, which they saw, where the title sequence was composed of pulls from the show. We decided to compromise. Every episode after that, there were some pulls from the show and a lot of the original title sequence.
Hi, this is David Crane, and I co-created Friends with Marta Kaufman, and I executive produce it with Marta and with Kevin Bright. Marta and I, we wanted to do a show about that time when you've left home and you've left college and you don't know what you're doing, but it's okay because you've got these group of people around you who are just terrific and make it all right.
Not having sex.
Sounds like a date to me.
I'm Marta Kaufman. We were just talking the other day about how difficult some things are to write and how this pilot wrote itself. Having come off of doing Dream On, a show with one person, wanting to do an ensemble show, and David and I were sort of part of a group of 6 in New York when we were in our 20s, although people in their 20s now were different than what we were like. When we were writing the pilot, we said we felt like anthropologists. We kept having to ask 20-year-olds, what's it like to be in your 20s now? Still the same as it was then? I mean, we were in our 20s pre-AIDS. Things were different.
She never calls me.
And I remember driving by a place called the Insomnia Cafe here in Los Angeles and thinking, that's a fun reference, sort of a over-caffeinated feel for a show. That would be fun.
We had the idea that the show was going to be, as we called it, over-caffeinated, because we figured we're in a coffee house where you're cutting back and forth between 3 stories, so it doesn't feel like your traditional sitcom with one big A story and maybe a B story.
So just leave my aura alone, okay?
The feeling was we have 6 characters, and to serve all the characters and the actors, we're going to need to tell a bunch of stories in each show. And the other thing that makes it unconventional is that it is a true ensemble. There is no lead. I mean, even Seinfeld, which was an ensemble, it was Seinfeld. Cheers, you had Sam Malone at the center of it. There is no Sam Malone. There is no Seinfeld. Any week, any 2 or 3 or 4 characters carry the weight.
All right, Ross, look. You're feeling a lot of pain right now. You're angry.
The most exciting thing about the original concept of Friends to me, it was absolutely something I had not seen on television to that point. Young people in their 20s, in prime time, living away from a family situation. It was a time in your life where your friends were your extended family. And that was basically the theme of the show, Friends as Family.
And I